Praise God. Today we're continuing in chapter 14. And it came to pass in the days of Raphael, king of Shinar, Ariuch, king of Elasar, Achedorela, king of Elam, and Tidal, king of Nation, that this made war with Bera, king of Sodom, with Besha, king of Gomorrah, Shinab, the king of Adama, Sheba, the king of Zebulun, and the king of Bela, which is Zoar. All these were joined together in the valley of Siddim, which is the Salt Sea. 12 years they served Chedorlaomer. In the 13th year they rebelled. In the 14th year came Chedorlaomer and the kings that were with him, as much Rephaim, as Toreseth, Karnaim, and Zuzim in Ham, and Eminim, Shaveth, Kiriathaim, and the Horites in their Mount Seir, and Ephraim, which is by the wilderness. And they returned and came to Enphishet, which is Kadesh, and smote all the country of Amalekites, also the Amorites that dwelt in Hazarishama. And they went out the king of Sodom, and the king of Gomorrah, and the king of Adama, and the king of Zoblim, and the king of Bela, the same is Zorah, and they joined battle with them in the valley of Siddim, which Chedorlaomer the king of Elam, with Tidal king of Nation, Amaraphel king of Shinar, and Ariuch king of Eleazar, 4 kings with 5. And the vale of Siddim was full of slime pits, and the king of Sodom and Gomorrah fled and fell there, and they remained fleeing to the mountain. And they took all the goods of Sodom and Gomorrah and all the victuals, and went their way. And they took Lot, Abram's brother's son, who dwelt in Sodom, and his goods, and departed. And there came one that had escaped unto Abram the Hebrew, for he dwelt in the plain of Mamre, and the Amorites, brother of Eshcol and brother of Aner, and these were confident with Abram. And Abram heard this, that his brother was taken captive. He armed his trained servants born in his own house, 318, and pursued them unto Dan. And he divided himself against them, he and his servants, by night, and smote them, and pursued them unto Hoblah, which is in the left hand of Damascus. And he brought back all the goods, and also brought again his brother Lot, his good, and the women also, and the people. And the king of Sodom went out to meet him after his return from the slaughter of Chedorlaomer, and of the kings that were with him in the valley of Shaveth, which is the king Dales. And Melchizedek king of Salem brought forth bread and wine, and he was a priest of the Most High God. And he blessed him and said, Blessed be Abram of the Most High God, professor of heaven and earth, and blessed be the Most High God, which delivered thy enemies into thy hand. And he gave him tithes of all. And the king of Sodom said unto Abram, Give me the persons, and take the goods to thyself. And Abram said to the king of Sodom, I have lifted up my own hand unto the Lord, the Most High God, the possessor of heaven and earth, that I will not take from a thread even to a shoe latchet, that I will not take anything that is mine, lest thou shalt say, I have made Abram rich, save only that which his young men have eaten on the portion of the men which went with me. Anna, Eshcol, Mamre, let them take their portion. We see here that Abraham went to wage war. We see these kings, they were fighting, and I believe that these are the cities that were among the plain of Jordan. And therefore, when they rebelled against that king, they went to a war, because these kings, they were under bondage, they were serving another kingdom, and when they rebelled, it brought about war. And these cities in the plain, mostly Sodom and Gomorrah, they were greatly affected, they were defeated. And we see that among those people that were taken were Lot, and out of that, one man, some servants came who were serving Lot to Abraham and explained the matter to him. We see with Abraham, he was favored with God. He only took 318 men, and when he went, God was by his side. He waged a beautiful war. He saved his people. He saved his nephew. And the most significant of this chapter, you're going to see, as also it reflects back into the New Testament, is this king, the king of Salem, which is Melchizedek. Melchizedek blessed Abraham And he identified and said, "Blessed be Abram of the Most High God, possessor of heaven and earth." One thing we see that he, being a priest, identified Adam in that prospect is he knew Adam in the spiritual dimension as being Abram of the Most High God. This also should raise a question that when a believer or someone else looks at my soul, what does he see? Am I sealed with the seal of heaven? Am I identified with the God of gods? Am I identified with the King of kings? Therefore, he knew Abraham, and Abraham was also a rich man. He did not take anything, but he paid his tithe. You see, Melchizedek was a high priest, but he identified. The main things, that identification. Who are you in the spirit? Is he just anyone, or you are a son and a daughter of the Most High God? So wherever you are, have this in mind, that today, what do I want more? To be identified, to be known in the spirit that I am of the Most High God, that I belong to Jesus, that I belong to the Jehovah Jireh, King of Kings. And God bless you till the next chapter. Amen.